Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavindam Jaya going on? Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavindam Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivajakacharya Astutera Sata Shri Shrimad Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivajakacharya Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Kir Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande Hare Hare Bol. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the not so assembled devotees. Because mostly devotees are not so assembled. They're partially bits and pieces. They advertise Loctite on Facebook. You can buy some and assemble some devotees. What is going on here? Give that scissors.
This is it's not coming from.
The zipper is broken. Just open it.
No, it's not broken. It's stuck. Stuck.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. I don't know. I've explained this before about assembled devotees and not so assembled devotees. Assembled devotees means the great devotees. Formerly in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's, or even, not even, but when Prabhupada was leading kirtan, there were devotees from far away places that not everybody could see who were attending. Because but I make a joke that most of us are not. Assembled means assembled. They have come together in one place. Another meaning of assembled is like you have a jacket and it's made of, one part for the sleeves, one part of the back, front. So it's assembled, stitching on a machine. So as far as the great devotees, they have assembled. The lesser devotees are less assembled in the second sense. They're not assembled. An assembled devotee means that everything is in the right place, you see. His intelligence, his knowledge, his devotion, his body, his mind, they're all in the right place. Yes? But so we are not so assembled devotees. We are sitting here, but our mind is somewhere else. She can't, she's sometimes taking part in the kirtan. Sometimes she wants to drink something, wants to do something. She's not assembled, you see. So we should, this is based on maybe on the fact that I studied anatomy and physiology and things, so I know how the body is assembled. Similarly, devotional service is personified as Bhakti Devi. She's an assembled devotee. She's a devotee, great devotee. And so, if you follow my point, we can see our devotional being as it's not offensive, although devotional service, pure devotional service, is not material in any way, but our whole being is not so assembled. We're partially. Sometimes sometimes we have understanding. Oh yes, this is devotional service, and I'm doing devotional service. And sometimes we're in material consciousness. We're doing something, we're concerned with making money without the idea of that we're going to spend, how much of the money we're going to spend on family affairs and how much we're going to spend on devotional service. So that kind of thinking of making money, that is not spiritual. So we're not assembled. We're half, one leg in the spiritual boat and the other leg in the material boat. That's not very good, because either you can easily fall in the water. So That's why it's Prabhupada would often speak of the urgency, the urgent necessity of developing Krishna consciousness, becoming fixed up in Krishna consciousness, fixed up, to remain always assembled. And then such a devotee doesn't have to worry about external disturbances, because that's automatically part of the protocol of assembly, how to deal with the material world. We should realize that is in the material world, we don't take it seriously. You know, a devotee is not disturbed by the ups and downs of material existence. What does it say in Bhagavad Gita? You know, heat and cold, and devotee is not concerned. He doesn't feel it, because he doesn't feel the fluctuations of external material situation, because he's on a higher platform. If you're flying in an airplane and there's a storm on the ground, and trees are being knocked down, buildings are being broken, you don't feel anything, because you're up in the sky. Yeah? So, although you can see it, and it might be your cousin's village being bashed, but you don't feel it. So, the ordinary people might say, well, you're thinking that you should become Krishna conscious, and then you ignore, you don't feel the problems that we're having on the ground, from the wind and the storm and disease and all things. So you're selfish. What do you have to say about that? No. A devotee is not selfish. A devotee is actually, this selfishness is ignorance. That person who says you're selfish, he is ignorant. He doesn't know his real interest. He doesn't know he's not working for his real purpose of life. So that is ignorance. So why should we listen to his opinion of what is selfish? He calls it selfishness. On the other hand, a devotee, he's looking after his real self-interest. So if you want to call that selfishness, that's all right, but it's not like the common meaning ascribed to selfishness. You sit, can you not sit properly? Mind is distracted if you're these asanas. They help the mind be calm to understand this spiritual subject matter. So that's real science, you see. This is real science. It's contained in Bhagavad Gita. On the other hand, Mohan was telling me, or he posted on a group in WhatsApp about one scientist or doctor and graduated from big Oxford University, and he is boasting, in effect, that he has discovered modern medical principles in our Hindu, Indian, Sanskrit, Vedic texts. He's boasting. Why should he boast? He has no right. It's not his property. He was ignorant of it. He's still ignorant of it. They don't know the context. They don't know who is Shrushruta. And they talk about, oh, we have now forgotten, maybe it's due to this, maybe due to that, maybe it's due to some invaders destroyed millions of books in some university thousands of years ago. But that's speculation. Nobody knows what's in those books. You know, it may have been this mundane library. Oh, just like a modern library.
No, there was, Prabhu.
There also, yes, maybe there was manuscripts of Bhagavad Gita. Yes, definitely, there might have been. But most of the texts, who knows what the subject matter was, if they're lost. So my point is...
there in Nalanda University, it was all destroyed by Mughals. Destroyed by Mughals, Prabhu, Nalanda University.
Is disturbed?
Destroyed.
Fine, everybody knows that. Yeah. But which books were there?
Vedic books, bro.
Vedic books, what do they know actually? Vedic, this is a modern misconception, and it may have existed at that time also, that any old book in Sanskrit that is worthy of respect and to be treated like Shastra. Not true. A lot of old Sanskrit books are simply just like modern books. They have no value. This is a mistake. On what basis do you think? We don't hear this from the Acharyas, that all the ancient books are Shastras. No. We never hear that. Do you have any evidence?
Yeah, so Sushruta, he's a surgeon.
We know he's a surgeon, but just like there are many surgeons, we don't know his real qualification. I'm not discounting. I personally have respect for people who can do surgery nicely. Of course, we all know that, but this is sentiment. How much you don't know what he actually did. He did,
He wrote books, Prabhu. He wrote books on surgery.
He wrote book, yes. He described the surgical procedures. Yeah. But is that to be accepted as equivalent to bhakti literature? No.
So
it's material.
To bhakti literature, right? See, this is medical science.
Medical science. The body is material.
So
and why call it science? Science means knowledge of especially of the difference and the connection between matter and spirit. Now, unless that book, surgery book or astronomy book or book on any subject that was written then or now, we're speaking about ancient books, so-called ancient, 2,000 years ago, 3,000 years, 4,000 years ago, in Sanskrit, on any subject, weaving saris or weaving or building houses, unless there's reference to Siddhanta, to Vedic conclusions, then why offer it so much respect? Just because it's old? No. There are many old Sanskrit books that are full of mistakes and speculation, just like modern books. They just simply happen to be living in an era when people spoke Sanskrit, so they wrote in Sanskrit. But it doesn't mean they are on the transcendental platform. This is your mistake.
So when the Pandavas were getting trained, right? Mahabharata. Pandavas.
Mahabharata is Shastra.
Listen, Prabhu. When Pandavas and Kauravas were getting trained by Dronacharya, it was a military science which was already listed. Okay? And this was coming right from the Vedas, how to get trained in military.
So that's all right, but then you have to be sure.
It doesn't have anything to do with bhakti. Ultimately, Arjuna had to use it in the...
It has to do with bhakti in that it is meant for Kshatriyas to advance the world situation for the benefit of the spirit. Don't interrupt.
Medical science can also
so it can, but it has to be bona fide. So the Shastras mentioned in Mahabharata we can accept as bona fide. But it doesn't mean that all ancient books of similar age, maybe there were many imitations. You see, just like there are imitation Gitas now, and there have been for thousands of years, there were imitations, maybe. I don't know if you're getting my point. That we should not. Why does there have to be so many books? In one book you can have on archery, one book on this and that. Why so many books? Like modern medical library is filled. There's hundreds of books of surgery on the same subject, because it's basically speculation. One surgeon, based on his experience, he writes an article and then a book on one procedure. But nobody accepts it as absolute. Another surgeon says, Dr. So-and-so's book is not acceptable, and he gives a reason, argument. See, so such expertise, it looks like expertise, and they use scientific, technical language, technical, not scientific. Science means actual knowledge. A lot of speculation, just like modern medicine.
Sushruta's techniques are used in big hospitals now, Prabhu. Sushruta's techniques of surgery are now used in hospitals. Prabhu.
That is not a vindication. That is reverse. What kind of impression do you have? That some hospitals are using Sushruta's techniques, that's just the same as this doctor was saying. He discovered that Sushruta's techniques are good. They're just like ours. And we even have accepted something better than ours, so we're using it. That is not proof of Sushruta's authoritativeness. I don't know. I mean, I have regard for, I've seen some volume of Sushruta's books, and I have a couple of Ayurvedic books with references to Sushruta's, with diagrams and everything. It's very impressive, but overall, what is his gestalt? What is his position? Was he just an expert in a materially expert in some field, or was it actually Vedic? That means the author of some Vedic text, he will always, in the beginning, he will give credit to the gurus, to the parampara, and he will explain his purpose, and he will offer obeisances to Vishnu. They will always do that. So if Sushruta does that, then even without reading all the details, I'll accept, and anyone should accept that it's bona fide. But if they don't do that, then why should we be ready to accept it as equivalent to Vedic literature? It's not. There are a lot of old books that simply, material.
Yeah,
on construction, on.
I feel it has to be used in the right purpose. See, if you had been admitted to the hospital is all materialistic, but they are using some equipment to treat on a devotee, correct? So.
But their treatment is not all valid.
That is different subject matter, bro. But is it being not used for your treatment is the question there. Since you are a devotee, right, and they are using the materialistic equipment, as per you it is materialistic, right?
No, that's another subject. You don't understand. The body of knowledge has to be not partially, but in every aspect, it has to be in line with the Vedic. With Vedic knowledge, actual Vedic knowledge.
Where do you see in the material world? So, where do you see in the material world? This material world is all antagonist to Krishna, right?
Not necessarily. Like even your example of medical science, medicine, modern medicine, it's not necessarily antithetic to Krishna's purposes, but some of it is. Some of it is motivated simply by greed, by if you're a surgeon and you invent some new instrument,